Sorry, Bivol in the red and Polydor in the blue.
Tasha gloves, we are good to go here, Sebastian. Both fighters coming out of the orthodox stance. It'll be interesting that you can already see Bivol trying to put a little bit of pressure, very subtle pressure on Polydor. Pressure him up against the cage.
And you can really see the Muay Thai background in Polydor's fighting style.
Although in saying that, Bivol is throwing heavy leg kicks to start things off here.
And, you know, perhaps if you are Polydor, you're almost expecting a quick shot to the ground. So maybe he's been setting up, sort of preparing for that knee, and then all of a sudden, here we have Bivol engaging him on the feet.
That Taekwondo background is informing his spatial awareness. You can see it, his command over the distance, over the range right now is a little bit quicker than Polydor's. Tries the spin and attack.
Interesting. Didn't follow up for a clinch there up against the cage, which, again, on paper, probably would have favored him.
Oh, beautiful teep right to the face.
He ate that like a premium slice of New York pizza.
I was about to say, that is a classic Muay Thai stylist. You can see how that leg kick differs from the leg kicks we've seen from Bivol, chopping right into the meat of the thigh, turning the hip over, but...
Interesting there. Polydor caught the kick, but didn't really manage to capitalize. Perhaps he's a little bit thrown off by Bivol's willingness to engage on the feet.
Good stiff jab, just cut through the guard of Bivol there. See, Polydor looking a little bit tentative. As you said, Sebastian, I don't think he expected Bivol to stand in front of him and trade in this manner.
Like with so many aspects of it. Oh! Nice counter shot that Polydor was sort of loading up or cocking it like a shotgun.
He's doing just enough to keep Bivol away. But if you're in the corner of Bivol, you would be advocating for that takedown. Right now, it's relatively even in this stand-up. Why not take the fight somewhere where you will have a distinct advantage?
It could perhaps be for a moral victory that, you know, he wants to really prove himself on the feet against such a seasoned striker as the multiple.
Oh, huge shot. Very exciting. But I don't think this fight transpired the way any of us believed it to.
Yeah, I was. There we see some of that Taekwondo background with that spinning hook kick from Bivol. Yeah, it's basically turning into a striker's delight right here. Neither fighter really eager to engage on the ground at all. At least not so far.
Bivol with a nice cross check there.
Just mentioning the walk-ins, Polydor, a multiple time champion in both K1 and Muay Thai.
Oh, that is a beautiful spinning kick, just grazing the chin of Polydor.
And if you aren't worried about being taken down, like Bivol presumably isn't, throwing those kicks, you can kind of, yeah, because if he catches him, okay, sure, just kind of pull out. You're not expecting to be taken down. I don't think Polydor will attempt it either.
Bivol doing a good job of keeping it out of clinch range. Because like we've alluded to, those close quarter knees and elbows will be some of the best weapons in the armory of Polydor.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, both fighters connected there. Polydor connected with a right hand, but then Bivol seemed to connect with a left hook as well.
Polydor's throwing more kind of single shots as opposed to trying to blend those strikes together, the hands and the kicks. I'd like to see him double up on the jab and use that to almost mask the kick that's going to come underneath.
That's a great point, Phil. I mean, after all, probably the best moment he's had so far in the fight was that classic Muay Thai combination, the 1-2 low kick. I'd like to see a little bit more of that, especially against a fighter who does have kind of a wide stance like Bivol has. Like a moment there, for example, he missed that kick. Had he set it up with 1 or 2 strikes before that, he'd probably have a bit more success.
Oh, Superman punch attempted. Bivol needs to be careful of overcommitting to his strikes. There's been a couple of times he's thrown everything into a punch. And axe kick from standing. Behave yourself.
Trying to chop down his opponent is Bivol.
Shake of the head from Polydor, which invariably means, yes, you caught me. And Bivol is throwing absolutely everything at Polydor here.
I gotta say, I'm very impressed by not just the striking of Bivol, but I mean his courage to stand with such a credential.
Oh, it's a big shot right over the top. 10 seconds left in the round. Can Polydor do something to make it definitive?
Another nice leg kick there from the Muay Thai practitioner.
And what a first round for Polydor, taking the fight on 48 hours notice with no discernible mixed martial arts background, giving a very good account of himself. Bivol, again, showing that he is not just a grappler by any stretch of the imagination, that he's happy to stand and trade. More of the same, please, in round 2.
Oh, absolutely. No complaints here in this fight, staying on the feet. I mean, I'm surprised, both surprised and impressed by both fighters here in different aspects. I mean, the fact that Polydor looks so good in there despite taking the fight at 48 hours notice. And Bivol's just confidence on the feet. I mean, that front kick to the face was something else.
Yeah, hopefully we see the axe kick again, because it's a high risk. That is sumptuous, Sebastian. Absolutely delicious. That was better than the mashed potatoes I had in catering, and they were unreal.
Oh, yeah, but honestly, I don't think we can do those mashed potatoes enough justice.
And sure, if you're in the corner of Bivol now, you're going to be saying to him, you've stood with your opponent, you've shown your striking acumen. Why not take him down? Why not work for a submission? Why not show a little bit of dominance? Because that was a fairly close round.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I could see it being scored both ways. Both fighters did land a lot of good offense. But yeah, now that the rhythm is established on the feet and he started to sort of settle into it, now would probably be a good time to score a takedown.
Fans here, and oh, beautiful, just grazed with the head kick.
And I like that Polydor sort of took the command of there a little bit early, turned up the pressure a little bit, just to try and make sure that Bivol wasn't completely comfortable heading into the second round.
Trying to land that big shot over the top. And the first round, it was Bivol who essentially dictated the pace, the flow, the cadence of the fight. Now you're seeing Polydor on the front foot a little bit more. Maybe took him that round or so to acclimatize into the first round.
I mean, honestly, who can fault Polydor for being perhaps a little bit tentative in the first round? He's stepping into the MMA cage for the first time ever, and he does so on 48 hours notice.
He's edging ever closer with that head kick, and he's bringing it at a strange angle. It's not the classic over the top. Head the kick beautifully there with the shot.
Yeah, I know what you mean, Phil. It's almost like a diagonal up as opposed to...
It's a strange trajectory.
Yeah.
But it's definitely working for him.
Mostly blocked there, but you've got to be careful about blocking high kicks with your arms. You know, sometimes the power can still go through, and even more so, you can end up breaking your arm if you're not careful.
Yeah, Rich Franklin versus Chuck Liddell.
Yeah.
Chuck Liddell broke Franklin's arm with head kicks. Well, suppose they'd be arm kicks, they wouldn't be head kicks.
Yeah. And of course, Polydor, being a French Muay Thai practitioner, comes from a long lineage of very impressive fighters, likes of Damien Alkmos, Rafi Bohic, Fabio Pinca, Cyril Diabate, and perhaps the most known Farang from France, Jean-Charles Skarbowski. Became known to many MMA fans during his stint on The Ultimate Fighter as the Muay Thai coach for Team GSP.
Bivol doing a good job of switching stances. Been a number of times he switched from orthodox to southpaw, and that gives your opponent completely different looks. They feel like they have you figured out in one stance, then you switch it up. And right now, Bivol is putting it on Polydor.
And finally, we're seeing a little bit of clinch and standing grappling here.
At the midway point of the second round, and indeed the midway point of the fight. It'll be interesting to see how Bivol works the takedown, if indeed that's what he's trying to do. You can see he's isolating the arm here. May try and go for the Dagestani handcuff. Has that tight grip around the waist. I'd like to see him get a little bit lower and a little bit more chest to chest, just like this. This is exactly where he should be. Strong knee in the middle.
So far, the takedown defense from Polydor holding up, though. And if there's any sort of grappling avenue where he might be a little bit more comfortable, it should be the standing clinch grappling, as we do see a lot of that in Muay Thai. Albeit it's kind of a different type of clinch, but still.
He has the heavy overhook here. I would like to see him pummel in for the underhook. You're seeing a little bit of relative inexperience in that regard, clinching down on the whizzer instead of trying to pummel in and establish the underhooks.
That's a great point there, Phil.
A little bit of bicep control here. Trip takedown. Oh, almost.
Can't quite get it.
Trying to sneak that leg underneath and go for that trip takedown. So far, Polydor doing a good job of not being taken down.
I gotta say, I'm very impressed by the way he's handling himself in here. And again, I mean, it can't be stated enough. The short notice nature of this performance makes it even more impressive. And how about the redness on the left leg of Bivol as well? Those leg kicks are starting to take their toll.
You wonder, will cardio be an issue? Because I'm not saying that Polydor isn't a well-conditioned athlete. Nice short elbow, but if you factor in Muay Thai rounds are between 2 and 3 minutes.
Yeah.
You now have a 5-minute round. You're not used to this style of grinding kind of clinch play.
Yeah, that's a good point. And that could be some of the most taxing elements in all of MMA.
Oh, and there's the takedown right into the mounted position. And with a full minute with which to work, this is going to be a very long minute for Polydor, who gets right back up quicker than a powered-up Pac-Man. What is going on?
I mean, he snuck out the back door like a rebellious teenager.
This is a fantastic fight, Sebastian.
Absolutely. You couldn't have asked for a better way to sort of kick off the card here.
Just as you say kick off, it's like he was listening. Polydor giving an incredible account of himself here.
An interesting Bivol in southpaw now. I wonder how much of that is to throw him off, and I wonder how much of that is due to the leg kicks that he sustained.
Yeah, that's a great point, Seb. More often than not, we see fighters switch stances if they've accumulated a lot of damage on their lead leg. What a second round. Polydor surprising everybody in the arena here. A point I like to make is just how well educated the French fans are.
Oh, yeah.
They saw the escape and they applauded and just reveled in that like you would a knockdown or something. It was great to see. Love educated fans.
Oh, definitely. I mean, you can tell that the French fans have been hungry for MMA. Of course, legalized in 2020.
Hexagone MMA giving the people what they want. You see opening the round with the head kick, and there was some serious gunslinging going on.
Those kicks landing mostly to the arm, probably not doing that much damage, but I do like the pressure. I do like that Bivol doesn't just let his opponent off a hook like that. He really was on the hunt. And that is an elbow to the back of the head. We did see a complaint there from Bivol.
Beautiful get up there. I thought he may have been in trouble of leaving the arm in there, but was astute enough to keep everything compact and essentially get out of the danger zone.
I mean, you can tell that he's at least been training on the correct type of escapes required here in MMA. I mean, we're not going to, at 48 hours notice, you're not going to be able to teach him a flying triangle or something like that. Teach him the basics, the things that he's going to need. Third and final round here, this 72-kilogram catchweight bout between Jason Polydor and Nicolae BIVOL.
And right now, Sebastian, it's essentially anyone's fight.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this has been fought on a razor's edge so far.
A little bit of hand fighting here. Again, Bivol in the southpaw position. Both fighters trying to keep their foot on the outside. And Polydor needs to be careful not to circle into the rear hand now. Trying to keep everything on the outside. Interestingly though, no knees at all from Polydor.
That's a good point. I mean, you would expect perhaps some defensive knees at the very least when he was clinched up against the cage. Oh, nice right hand there.
When he strings the shots together, when he starts putting combinations together, that's when he's at his most dangerous.
Oh, absolutely.
These single shots are landing, but they will land with greater ferocity if he sets them up.
Absolutely. I mean, it will disguise him a little bit better as well. And it's always the shots where you don't really see coming that do the most damage. Still, though, Bivol holding his own on the feet, and you know he does work in construction, so no surprise, but he has solid foundations.
Terrible, Sebastian. Terrible. This has been a lot more of a technical striking battle than I think anybody would have thought so on paper.
Absolutely. I think Polydor perhaps more than anybody as well. You have to imagine he was preparing for just takedown defense, takedown defense, takedown defense. Wow, jumping switch kick there.
Landed the first kick. Anything you can do, I can do better. Bivol throwing it right back to him.
Punching his way in, but not clinching up is Bivol.
you have to think at this stage of a fight, when it's so evenly matched, a takedown for either fighter could be absolutely huge. And it's Bivol throws a big knee.
And Polydor seems a little stunned.
Polydor trying to get out of the line of fire here.
Nice left straight to the body there from Polydor. It's almost as if Bivol is trying to... Oh, he goes down!
Huge 1-2. That's what we were talking about, stringing the shots together, and that's what did the damage, Sebastian.
And when you look at that, the fight ends up on the ground, but not at all in the way that we would suspected that it would.
This is where Polydor needs to be very, very careful. He can't just lay and pray in this position. He needs to do something offensively. If he continues to stay in this position, they will be stood up again, which I don't think would have necessarily been a bad thing.
Honestly, yeah.
Potential relative inexperience on the part of Polydor there to charge in. Would have backed away, let your opponent stand up. Probably you're allowing your opponent right now to gather himself a little bit more, to become a little bit more cognizant.
I mean, that's something that I know that Nate Diaz has talked about, that he says, you know, if you get dropped, don't hurry your way back up. Be sure to regain your composure first.
Yeah, don't smother your work. Don't smother. You've done. This is exactly what I was talking about. He's given Bivol a little bit of respite, time to get up. But I would go right back to the combination work if I were Polydor. There it is. 1-2. Once again, the French fans absolutely loving this fight. Another big shot over the top.
And a kick as well for good measure.
Polydor could be aging this fight in the eyes of the judges.
I mean, he got the most decisive moment of a fight. It's got to be that knockdown. So I guess it comes down to the 2 first rounds as well.
Final minute of the 3rd and final round, and what a way to open up the card here at HEXAGONE 9.
Oh, absolutely. The crowd in attendance here at Reims Arena are loving it.
Sure, with 30 seconds to go in the round, if you're in the corner of Bivol, you will be screaming, takedown, takedown.
Yeah, I'm impressed with his wanting to keep the fight on the feet, but you know, it is wondersome why he's not taking the fight to the ground. He should have a clear advantage there.
Bivol trying to throw big shots. 10 seconds left to go. 2 fighters meeting in the middle.
Swing and a miss with that high kick there from Polydor.
There it is. What a fight we have been treated to. And if that is the tone that is being set tonight, Sebastian, we are in for an incredible night of action.
Oh, most definitely.
And regardless of the result of this fight, Polydor has undoubtedly won the hearts of the fans here. Again, to reiterate, taking a fight on 48 hours notice.
Mesdames et messieurs, vainqueur par décision.